Let's go, Senku! La familia, la familia, la familia, la familia. Welcome back to the Infinity Kingdom video with Senku from server 66. Welcome back, familia. And today's, guys, is Richard. Is the time to talk about Richard, because this immortal is being left over, and there is a why, and there is a reason why. You know, when I first started using lightning, this guy was just so good. He was just needed for lightning. He was so good. But right now, not many people using the question, and we're gonna answer those questions. We're gonna see how good is him, how you should use him, and why some other people are not using Richard anymore. All right. First thing first, he's a defense immortal shield man from lightning, and he's really tanky. All right, you're gonna see he also deal a little bit damage. As you can see there, 170%, but he doesn't really does more damage when you actually use him, because we don't use damage skills on him. And his main skill is useful because he have stun rate for 40%, and I cannot move or recover energy for 4 seconds. So he will stun 3 immortals, right? For example, if I'm running Richard, where are you? If I run in Richard here, right, he will stun both immortals in the front row, which is this both. He will stun this both, and also he will stun the one in front of him, which is here. All right, which is, imagine there. He will stun this. Let me just take this off. He will this. Basically, he will stun the both immortal in front of him, as you can see, Manko and Richard. Those both will be stunned, and also the one behind behind Richard, in this case behind the opponent, right? Those 2 immortals have chances, 40% chance to be stunned by Richard. That's how his skill will work. The leftover immortal in the far corner, he won't be stunned because his skill only are available for 3 immortals. Where are you now, Richard? Where are you? Here, right? And Richard, it was very important in the early game. And mainly in the it was very important in the early game, and it's very important in the early game as a lightning march, because Richard synergizes so well with the lightning dragon, guys. I think it's the immortal that synergizes the best with the lightning dragon, right? Because if you can see here, at least not after you update your dragon, but before that, the main skill of the dragon, if it's stunned, let's read the skill. Let's see the dragon here. Deals 911 true damage to all enemy units, and increase the damage they receive from ultimate skill by 24. But this is because I've got this normal skill, right? If you choose the first one, increase true damage by 6%. Also, if the opponent is stunned, it will also increase the damage because they are stunned. This is the main skill. The main skill, dragon skill, you should run when you're using Richard, right? Because for every stun immortal in the opponent side, the dragon will deal extra damage. And this skill used to be a banger with Richard, right? Because Richard normally will cast the skill before the dragon, and if you stun the opponent, the dragon will deal just more damage, which is still being useful right now. If you play in the mid tier or below that, it will still very useful. And I will personally run Richard if I will still play in that level. The only problem why we are not using Richard now in the top tier list, because most of the immortals right now, at least the main 2 marches, you won't be able to do anything with Richard because he's only useful for the stun. Don't get me wrong, he's very tanky. He's a very tanky immortal, but if you cannot stun with him, it's better use somebody else that can give you another utility, right? And when you're facing opponents like Holy, it won't work because Manko will make Richard useless. And let me tell you something, he needs to stun before the dragon to actually get advantage from his skill. But if you hit before a dragon and he cannot stun the enemy, you won't get nothing from him. there is no point to really use him. So when the mixed match came up, Richard started being a little bit less useful because also you cannot stun Charles. You cannot stun Barca and Alex. You only can stun the back row, which is not the problem. The problem is the two front liners, and Holly also as well. You cannot stun Holly. You will really struggle. He's a good immortal against Shadow, because if you manage to get him hit before the Shadow Dragon hit, he is really good. All right, and the only thing is sad about him, Richard, is the immortal that actually boosts Hammurabi the most. He just when the immortals stun, Hammurabi hits after the stun. Well, while they are stunned, because he lasts for 4 seconds, Hammurabi just make a decent amount of damage. And he's a different immortal. You can use so many different skills, as long as they are different skills. But when if you're running Richard in your march, you have to make sure that you're running something that will give him energy boost, right? Something that give him energy boost, because you have to make sure unless if the opponent, imagine the opponent running energy suppression, obviously that will go against you, and it will make sure that you don't cast your skill on time. So you have to make sure that if the opponent running energy suppression, you also run energy suppression and even rage blessing, which is rage blessing. And if you don't want to run rage blessing, you have to run sacrifice to kind of give him some energy. And if you don't run sacrifice, you need to run adrenaline rush. You need to make sure that you get as much as from this skill, which is really good, because it actually is done very nice. And if you got his exclusive artifact, guys, when Richard deals damage, increase the chance of target being stunned by 20%, right? So instead of 40, now it's gonna be 60. All right, instead of 40, it's gonna be now 60, because you got another 20% more. So when you have his exclusive artifact, which is a free-to-play artifact, and also he is a free-to-play immortal, you have to you're gonna increase your chances at 60%, which is almost all the time someone is gonna be stunned. All right, and his exclusive artifact is free. Everybody have these artifacts. Almost everybody got a max. At least you should have, at least if you've been doing your job in the game, if you've been doing all your tasks, everything you have to do as normal, even as a free to play, you should have at least these artifacts almost max, or at least 3 stars, right? Because it's a free to play artifact and it's very easy and simple to get, right? And that's what makes us also this immortal very good and very useful. The only thing I repeat, if you play against top players, it won't work, because he won't be able to stun those marches, because they use immortals that go against control, and that's something that you have to keep in mind. But if that's not the case, guys, Richard is just so good. He's very tanky, he's very strong, and his skill works the best with the dragon. But remember, you have to use the first skill in the dragon, and like I said, you can use any different skill you want on him, but always make sure that you actually pay attention in the energy, because the energy is very important on Richard in order to cast that skill earlier and the most time as you can. I will not use something like Wind Rage and Adrenaline Rush. No need to use what is it here? I won't use something like this, because you're just wasting the space. All right, you have to give it more utility. So if you run Adrenaline Rush, no need to run Wind Rage, just run something else. You can either run like Misleading, or you can run then like Okengard. What is Okengard? Or even is very tanky if you have a good artifact. Obviously, if you go for his artifact, make sure that you go physical defense, as you can see there. Physical defense bonus, which is what you want. And then as the attribute, you can either use HP or reduce more the damage, which is still fine. Any of them is good, but he's very tanky when you have the right artifact, so you can even use assist on him, because let me tell you, Richard is very tanky. So you can use these skills is still good. The aura, you can change any aura you want. But remember, if you use this skill, if you use sacrifice is an aura. Alright? If you use sacrifice, obviously it's an aura, so you're not gonna be able to use anything else. So what you could use here, you could use physical shield, for example. That will do very good here. Or use Okengar, or use something. Richard is very tanky and he's very useful, guys. Mostly in the mid-tier level. Mid-tier below. If you fight anyone without immunity control in the match, guys, Richard is good. He's so good. The only reason why I took him off is because I always fighting Hollies all the time, and you don't do anything against Holly because Manko is there, and that's the only sad thing about Richard. But he also happy with anyone, and anyone that you fighting is, if there is control there, you won't do anything. It's the same thing happen with Genghis Khan. When you're fighting Athena, Genghis Khan is just a no-no. But if you didn't know Athena there, Genghis Khan is just a good immortal to use anywhere. So I believe that's all about Richard. That's all you guys need to know, or all I can give about him. He's very good, but like I said, mid-tier below, top tier you won't be using it anymore, because Holy and mixed match, all those matches, they really go against the control, and you won't be able to use him so well. So that being said, hope you guys found this video useful. This is Richard, and hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys next one. Bye bye. Peace out.